Well, hey there, guys. I'm Axel the Beast, and this is the Curiosity Shop, the ZeldaEngine.net video mailbag where I answer your Zelda questions. And holy crap, there's a sword in the sky. Phantom Triforce asks, what did you think about all the Zelda-related things presented to us at E3? I thought there was some cool stuff, you know, all the music stuff and the live orchestra events and stuff. Very interesting. Not the most, like, you know, mind-blowing stuff, but it was still interesting. I think it was kind of, like, fitting for the Zelda 25th anniversary. It was also kind of cute that they had that Mario thing where, it's the Zelda-like level in the Mario game. As for Ocarina of Time 3D, you know, they didn't tell us anything new, really. But I think the Skyward Sword information is awesome, of course. Skyward Sword's the thing I'm the most excited about still. I mean, that hasn't changed. And as for the Wii U, I don't know what that's going to mean for Zelda yet. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I'm not mentioning the tech demo because we have a question later on for the tech demo. A Link to the Past asks, so now that we've gotten a better look at the graphical style of Skyward Sword, what do you think? Personally, I've loved it since the beginning. I completely agree. I've loved it since the beginning. I was like, yes! When I saw it the first time, and that hasn't really changed. I still think it's a beautiful style. I mean, we're definitely seeing some examples of more polished, you know, graphics now. They've polished it and made it look better. And I think that you know, things definitely look complete now, but I definitely think it looks like a beautiful game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with the graphical style. In particular, I heard something about them actually, like, you know, making it look like a painting from a distance. When you look at objects from the distance, the vision is distorted and it looks like a painting. That interests me a lot. I'm wondering what that means, if that's true, and I just think the game looks freaking gorgeous. I'm Ganon's Big Nose asks, what do you think of the Zelda HD demo shown with the Wii U? Will it be a new Zelda game? I can see the future. I don't think it's going to be a new Zelda game. I mean, it was obviously Twilight Princess, it was obviously the Temple of Time, it was obviously Armagoma, obviously Twilight Princess's art style, although slightly different. And they've confirmed it's a tech demo. Not that that's, like, something you should rely on, since they've almost been misleading themselves with a lot of this information, but, aside from that, I don't think it is either. I don't think they're going to remake Twilight Princess in HD. I don't think there's a lot of reason to. I don't know. They showed using the Wii U controller as, like, I don't know, like a little pad to control menus and stuff. They might do that for a Zelda game. I'm sort of inclined to think they'll do something more unique with it. But maybe we will just have a very standard Zelda experience on the Wii U. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with the Wii U and with Zelda. I'm curious to see if they'll actually keep the Skyward Sword controls, or if they're going to ditch it for something totally new by the next Zelda game. I don't really know. I guess I can't see the future. StephBird1 asks, has Skyward Sword's release date been confirmed yet? If so, what date? There's been no confirmation of an exact date, but they have said it will be out either by or on the holiday of, you know, this year. So, there are some rumors saying that's going to be in August, and I think, we posted it on the site recently, and I think the poster said that's unlikely because of a confirmed holiday release. I don't think that's completely impossible, but considering that would be out in time for the holidays, one could kind of consider that a holiday release. I don't know. I think it's going to come out late this year, in time for the holidays, maybe right around the holidays, but yeah, that's all. N. Hobbs asks, do you think the developers will ever base a game on the Sheikah and how they came to be the protectors of the royal family? Funny you should say that! Anyone who's been watching the mailbag from some of the, well, long enough anyway, will know that I wrote an article about the Dark Tribe and how I think they will be the villains of Skyward Sword, and also how I connect the Sheikah to the Dark Tribe, and that I think that the Sheikah will betray the Dark Tribe and thus become the Sheikah, and then serve the Hyrulean royal family in order to atone for their sins or whatever. So if I'm right, and so far the evidence is sort of pointing in that direction, I'll get to that later, then the Sheikah will be featured in Skyward Sword in a very similar premise. I don't think that there is a simple, normal, you know, non-epic reason why the Sheikah serve the royal family, because it's dedicated servitude, almost as if they were enslaved, but clearly Hyrule is a benevolent monarchy, so they wouldn't be enslaving another country, I don't think, or another race. So there has to be some major reason, and I think that makes perfect sense. Snowlink asks, do you think that the woman from the new trailer who looks like Zelda is actually one of her ancestors? Okay, two things. One, that girl is confirmed to be Zelda. That's a fact. They've confirmed it. It's just true. That's Zelda. That's the character named Zelda for this game. Two, every Zelda is completely different, and they're always either the ancestor or the descendant of another Zelda. Pretty much like, I guess, every single woman in the royal family is Zelda. That has to get confusing, but either way, so yes, since this is the first game on the timeline, she is the ancestor of all previous Zeldas, but she is still Zelda. Red Deku Scrub asks, Axel, please answer this question! I have noticed that the seal of the royal family looks like a type of bird. Could this symbol be a result of the flying creatures in Skyward Sword? Some forms of the symbol also resemble the Skyward Sword spirit. Please answer this question! Please give your opinion on this! Stop yelling at me. Actually, basically yes, because as we've had it explained to us about the story and background of the game, the entire Skyloft, or, well, Skyloft's the village, but the entire culture of the Skyloft village, and probably the world above the sky in general, is entirely dependent on the sky. That's their culture. They don't know about the land below. The land below is evil to them, or dark at least. Their entire culture revolves around these birds. They rely on them, and it's their only way of getting off the island. They have carvings of the bird all over the place, and we're seeing a version, of, like a prototype of the Hyrulean royal family crest, and it's the bird symbol that we've seen before on the royal family crest, except it doesn't have the Triforce on it yet. So yeah, that's the origin of the Hyrulean royal family crest, pretty much. Which probably means that this supports my theory that we're going to see the creation of the royal family. Ocarina of Time asks, in the new Skyward Sword trailer, there's a guy who looks shockingly like the sage Rauru. Do you think he is Rauru? And if so, do you think there will be more sages? Well, I don't deny that the sages will be important in Skyward Sword, because we're going to hear about a lot of events that lead up to Ocarina of Time, and I think one of the most important aspects of that is the sages. That said, despite some quotes of Rauru's that somewhat suggest he is really ancient, I don't think he's like some immortal dude who's been living for a long time. I mean, the previous sages who were there with him died. I mean, granted, they were killed by Ganon, I think, Ganondorf, but I don't think there's a lot of reason to suggest that Rauru is some kind of immortal. I think he's probably a normal guy. I don't think that guy is Rauru. He may be intended to look like him, but I also think there's a strong chance he's actually Zelda's father, in which case, and again, this was also posted on the main page, that would make him more like the Hyrulean royal family's king, which he also resembles. He also looks like the owl, Gebora, who some people think is Rauru. I don't think he's Rauru, or he might be the owl, though. I don't think the owl is Rauru. Moving on. Matthew asks, I'm left-handed, and I'm curious if Skyward Sword would be any harder playing with the Wiimote in my left hand. They've pretty much confirmed that they aren't going to have, like, the choose which hand you want to use option. I mean, that's not exactly what you asked, but that's something people have been wanting. And I don't think it's going to matter too much, because really it seems like with the controls, all that really matters is where the sword's pointing, the direction it's going, and where it's going, like, blah, blah, you know, that kind of thing. So which hand you're holding it in shouldn't really make much of a difference. Triforce King asks, in The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, the Hero Shade teaches Link how to use the 7 hidden skills, including the ending blow in the game. But at the E3 2011 on the show floor, when you play The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, Link knows how to do the ending blow. So do you think that the Skyward Sword Link is the Twilight Princess Hero Shade? Well, let me put it this way. Do you really need to train to learn how to do this? I mean, you know, he could be. People have already theorized that he's a previous Link, but I don't think that alone really means anything. I mean, it's clear that the game already mixes a lot of elements from a variety of Zelda games, in particular Twilight Princess and The Wind Waker, so I don't see why that has to mean anything. I think they're just taking a core gameplay element that was the only hidden skill you couldn't skip. You needed it to complete the game, and they're putting it in this game. That's all I think. Varley Raccoon asks, what role do you think Demon Lord Ghirahim will play in Skyward Sword? Some people say he is just the main villain's henchman, whom you fight frequently, and others say he is the main villain of the story. What's your take on this villain? Well, I think Ghirahim is awesome. As soon as I saw him and started thinking he was awesome, I did the rational thing and created a fake Twitter account that tweets as if it was Ghirahim. But moving on to your actual question. I think I predicted before E3 that Ghirahim would, well, before we knew his name, would not be the main villain of the game, and I stand by that. They've sort of confirmed that Ghirahim is part of a group that rules the land below, the surface world, and that he's not the only villain of the game, because there's those guys. So, because of that, I don't think he is going to be the main villain. Theoretically, he could still be, because he could either still be in charge of them or still rise among their ranks, but I still don't think so. He doesn't look like the kind of character who could necessarily be the main final villain type. He may not even be that consistent of a villain other than being a character. Theoretically, he might not even be a boss later in the game. He could just be the boss of the first dungeon, and these guys will be the bosses of the dungeons. Even though they may remain characters after defeated, they might not actually be fought again. I don't know. But I don't think Ghirahim's going to be the main villain, no. Alright guys, that's it for this time. Be sure to send me more questions, but try to make them about Skyward Sword and Ocarina of Time in particular, and maybe a little Link's Awakening thrown in since, you know, that came out on the eShop. So, yeah. And, keep your sword skyward. It was neat stuff, you know, the live, what do you call it?